want to get a glimpse of what the kids are like, liberal kids, watch the movie Bully from 2001, made by Larry Clark. It's frightening. Of course, this was 20 years ago. Maybe the new generation has changed. I don't know. But this is what I encountered. Just hanging out, laying around, not doing anything, casual sex, different partners, not caring about a thing. I pray that the new generation is different from that, because those kids are now in their 50s. I hope it's changed. It's hard getting along with people. Some people have a real problem with it, and they start to hate or be angry. And that takes so much valuable energy to be angry all the time. But I have sort of a trick. When people make me mad, when they come against me with this cultural neurosis that wants to fight everything I think or do, I think about Nazi Germany, when a whole generation thought the same way. Of course, it was brainwashing, and a lot of it based on fear. But basically, that's how it works with social hypnosis. A whole generation, a whole group, a whole family, a herd, a flock, they think the same way. They can't help it. And I think like that, and it brings relief for me to think like that, not to be mad at the person. Okay, it's like Nazi Germany. They can't help it. They're socially hypnotized. Forget it. Put it in your hell bag, put it in your devil bag. If you don't think like that, you're angry at a specific person. And then there's a grudge, energy depletion, ruining your whole day, falling into your bag. No, just think, it's just like Nazi Germany. Of course they think like that. And then forget it. What I hate more than anything is something called gossip labeled concern. They're talking about you. All your foibles and weaknesses and inclinations, and I'm so concerned about her. She does this and this and this. It's just gossip. But they cover it over by being so concerned about you. That's a bunch of bull. Get rid of that person. They're not your friend. Another trick I use is every trauma was for a reason. It's true. It makes you turn. It makes you switch. You delve deeper into the solution and you change. We keep changing. We keep correcting and tweaking until we become perfect. Trauma changed me big time, but it made me who I am, and I'm always changing and tweaking because of new traumas. Always see it as part of God's plan, no matter what. Joseph in the Bible was thrown in a ditch, put in a jail, ruined by his brothers. But because of all those events, he became king of Egypt. It's a funny thing, but God is very clever, and he turns our traumas into victories. He is omniscient. He is far more clever than we could ever be. Don't recall yourself as a victim. Don't think back to the lower rungs when people were putting you down and seeing you as a grasshopper. I used to do that, and it would bring so much frustration. Always think who you are now. Now you're on top. Now you have protectors. Now you're a leader. This isn't happening to you now. Don't look down to the lower rungs. That just brings, you want to kill them because you think so much differently now. Forget all that. You had to go to the lower rungs of the ladder to get to where you are now, a leader. Because you can't lead if you continue to see yourself as a victim. And every time you think back, it brings anxiety. You want to fight them. You want to kill them. You want to destroy their reputation. They may even be dead by now. Thinking back reduplicates the event in your brain, and it evokes anxiety as if you're in the fight right now. No way. You want to lead. You want to realize that now you're protected. You have a good combining. You've selected a good team, and you're protected. Now you're a leader. You are not a victim. Don't remember yourself that way, no matter what. Nazi trick of seeing social hypnosis for what it is. It explains it all, but it doesn't make them less culpable. Yeah, you understand that people are socially hypnotized and they're influenced by their friends and their family and the era that they live, the generation they live in, and the cultural neurosis at the time, but they're still responsible for what they did to you. Yes, it allows you to forgive them, which is to let them go. Get away from them. Forgive them. Forget them. See them as just, they know not what they do. The Bible says it. They don't know what they were doing at the time. They're still culpable. They're still responsible. The Nazi example explains so many things. It was such a horrible environment. I mean, overnight, the Jews were hated by their neighbors who loved them before. That's the dense environment. They like you, and then they hear something from somebody. Now they hate you. They want to conform to the group, or they just hate you for no reason. It's because they heard something. They don't make their own valuation. That's the Nazi example right there. People are very influenced by their flock, their herd, their tribe, their family, their group. That's what makes them the herd. If you follow my diet, you are now a fastarian. Fasting is defined as 2 meals skipped. You eat your breakfast, your major meal, and you skip lunch and dinner. You have your food window in 4 to 8 hours. Mine is about 4 hours. And then 20 hours fasting. Or you can do 8-16. You are now a fastarian. And a fastarian is superior. The Bible mentions fasting 75 times. Fasting and prayer, fasting and prayer. But a lot of Christians pay it no mind. Fasting is what the Lord wants us to do because we contact Him. When the energy is not down in the gut digesting, it's up in the head, coming up with ideas. He's putting ideas in there, and you're receptive to them if you're not always digesting. 85% of our energy goes into digestion, assimilation, and elimination. Without all that, it's creative ideas. Now make your million. When I was talking about a possible diet for fatarianism, fastarian, fruga-fatarianism, fat, I said vegetable with butter. I take that back. Butter is a saturated fat. We want unsaturated fats like avocado and nuts. Those won't give you any grief. But a lot of people, as they get older, they become sensitive to sugar and starch and fiber and lactose. They can't take the butter. And it brings on, in an older person, fecal incontinence. When my dear old dad was dying, I was taking care of him. And fecal incontinence is what happens to a lot of elderly people. Every time he had an accident, it was because they fed him wrong. If he just ate, which I gave him, fruit, leaves, nuts, and seeds, that's it. Fruit, leaves, nuts, and seeds, 4 things. That's God's food. He never had an accident. But what the caretaker would do is feed him wrong food, grains, bad fats, meats, just the regular cultural diet. he would have an accident and then they would punish him for it. Food that they fed him. Just remember that. Stick to the plan. If you had a problem, you see the body can't absorb it in if it's not right. It bypasses the digestive system and it just goes out in bowel leakage. If you have that problem, or if your parents have that problem, stick to fruit, leaves, nuts, and seeds, and you won't see that problem anymore. Big difference between saturated fats like butter and unsaturated fats like avocado and nut butter. The caretaker said, well, I just gave him a vegetable with butter on it. Vegetables are natural and healthy. Why don't you approve of that? Just a little butter. A little butter can trigger sensitivities in an older person, and that can bring on a flood, a bowel leakage. It just triggers. It's like a cascading effect, a domino effect. Cut all that out and just give them what they want. I fixed my mother when she was dying, tomato, avocado in the blender with a little lemon. And she just loved it. I believe I might have put parsley or cilantro in there too. And that's what she had every morning. She was dying of cancer, but that saved her. She did die, but that made her day comfortable. She had something in her stomach, it was comforting, and there was no problem. She just floated through her latter days because she looked forward to that tomato and avocado in the blender. The older you are, the faster the body will implode. Everything will change, your looks, the skin, everything will just implode by eating wrong. But then you snap right back by eating right the next day, if it's not too late. But you see these big changes when you're older. When you're younger, you're so much more resilient, you may not see it. But it's like a barometer watching it in an older person. The whole thing implodes. And they say, what happened to you? Everything changes. In the way they look, everything. It's a barometer. But remember, you can snap right back, get on the right diet, and everything will even out, even the skin, from being very dry and kind of bumpy and itchy if you're on the wrong diet to going to smoothness again. I asked the caretaker one time, she was a nurse, what triggered his incontinence? Was he eating fruit? No. Leaves? No. Nuts? No. Seeds? No. Other things. He's eating fruit, leaves, nuts, and seeds. No problem. Now let's do a recap on the high carb versus the low carb fruitarianism. High carb is very sweet fruits, mango, grapes, oranges, and no fats. Okay, low carb is low carb fruits, melons, olives, tomatoes, squash like zucchini, avocados, berries. Those are low carb fruits. And almond butter, nut butters. What a delicious meal. That's low-carb fruitarianism. I'm sticking with that because it's just so much more effective and easy to have one meal with high fat you're not going to eat again. High-carb fruitarians eat all day long. I don't want to do that. I got things to do. Fruits absorb right in. Without fruit, leaves, nuts, and seeds, you may see malabsorption syndrome. It bypasses the digestive system and just goes through in fecal incontinence. We don't want that. We don't want that for our parents. We want things to absorb in. That'll bring de-aging. That'll bring resilience. That'll bring they'll spring back up. You want those vitamins and antioxidants and minerals to go in the cells, not give them food that'll just forget it.